All right. Hello, folks. Do you want to stop the stress spiral and reduce and boost energy naturally? Today, that's what we are going to be covering here on the Prosper Nutrition YouTube channel. My name is Jason Steves. I'm a nutrition professional at the Nutrition and Health Center, and I'm joined by my co-host Steve Steves, who is a certified clinical nutritionist and naturopath, founder of the Nutrition and Health Center. And as I mentioned today, we're going to be touching on a very important topic, especially during this season of the year when people tend to have a bit more stress as a result of increased activities, especially families when it comes to school and things like that. So it's something that at our nutrition clinic we see often. Every year when school starts, parents feel that stress kind of increase, busier mornings, busier nights with activities, homework, and new schedules. So it's something that is common. So we understand, but there are ways that you can address that and handle those things better with some nutrition and lifestyle solutions. So we're going to dive into that. Steve, this is something that you commonly see and deal with at the nutrition office. You've been helping people for over 31 years deal with this. How would you kind of communicate with someone, um, just kind of understanding this stress issue in general for what they're dealing with, and how do you kind of start talking to them about that subject when they're telling you, I'm stressed about this, this, and this? How do you try to help them with that?
Well, we first want them to understand and identify with the fact that their body is not responding well. And one of those reasons is it's under stress. And what that stress looks like, it can be mental, emotional, it can be physical, it can be spiritual. And of course, those factors then all play into our biochemistry. So we can improve our biochemistry. We're going to talk about that. And in so doing, when I portray that information to people, there's various types of functional tests we do to
Hmm.
identify the degree of weakness due to being overstressed, stressed handling responses of the body are evidenced through certain tests. And we want to be able to handle stress at our highest levels and perform, throughout the day. And most people aren't performing. And of course, that's where the topic comes in. People have low energy, people are dealing with a lot of stress, and they manifest it all differently. We just want to identify the weaknesses and fill in the gaps to help their biochemistry respond through stressful times.
Yes. Yeah, and it's a big deal in the health community. I mean, a large percentage, I think I've heard anywhere up to 80% of doctors' visits are stress related issues, or they're either reporting that they're having high stress, or it's a stress related health issue. So it's a big deal for a lot of people. And I mean, seasonal things that we mentioned is a part of it, right? There, when we have just change in general, right, that can stress us out. So new lifestyles as far as daily routines, those adjustments that can disrupt your sleep. And then as far as planning new meals as well, like because if you're in the summer, you might be a little more lax on your eating, but if your schedule is a little more tight, you might be skipping meals, and that can stress your body. We've talked recently just about how challenging and stressful and difficult it can make your biochemistry to respond to stress in general if you skip things like breakfast. You know, that's another big thing. If people are skipping breakfast, that can, because of their busy lifestyle, that can stress their body as far as blood sugar and mental focus and energy, and then
Yes,
emotions. Yeah, go
it,
ahead.
we were talking about that when we just did all the videos on how to lay out a menu plan, what's important for
Right.
caloric intake, why spending so much time fasting is causing damage to people.
Yeah.
But just taking a closer look at the chemistry of what the body's needs are is what it's all about. And you have to recognize, and of course, we identified that with the 7 proven steps
Right.
handout that you can get when you go on prospernutrition.com and get those areas in alignment. How much water you're drinking, the quality of it, also the times of the day, the food you're consuming, the exercise you're getting. Folks, if you're exercising, I'll share this. Yesterday, I missed my exercise. I prioritized work projects,
Mm.
and by the end of the day, I was so wound up on work and I had a lot of energy. I just kept pushing, pushing. And heightened my stress hormones in the evening.
Mm.
I was feeling anxious. I was irritable. I was not doing well at all yesterday evening. I made some bad choices. And I think that happened for this reason that I could share it with people today. And we do that often. We need to just manage our day and be thankful when we get to the end of the day. We are human beings, not human doings. Just be thankful for who God made you to be at peace and rest and enjoy your evening and don't stress because
Right.
everything's the small stuff. Jesus dealt with everything on the cross. All we have to do is live in his promises and walk it out every day, and his provision will be seen. And he certainly will provide that for the health of our body chemistries. But nutrients are very important. We don't have access to the quality nutrients just in our food supply like we used to. Poor farming practices, toxic environment, why supplementation is so important. But those 7 proven steps, they're proven. We know they work, but you've got to work on all those areas to really experience low anxiety, low stress levels, and
Mm.
managing good health for many long years of your life.
Right. Yeah, yeah, and I think that's a good point you made at the end there. We want to think of this long term too. We don't want to have a short, quick fix mentality and do something like caffeinate so much, heavily caffeinate or takes downers like some people will do like melatonin at night and or some sort of like, sleeping pill, and that can have some negative effects on the biochemistry and can create more stress later on.
It
And so
can,
those, yeah,
they bypass the serotonin pathway when they don't use the physiology food components to feed the melatonin pathway. Your body will produce melatonin. You need to know what it takes to make that. If you
hmm,
take that hormone, you bypass serotonin, so you're going to be more stressed during the day because your reserves of serotonin are low, obviously, because you're not sleeping well and you're just doing a patch fix for sleeping with
right,
melatonin. But that serotonin support with tryptophan and B6, folate, there's so many cofactors involved with that.
right,
That's what works. That's what's in our sleep and calm formula. And I take it every night. And consequently, I sleep well. Even
yeah.
after a stressful evening like I had last night, I feel fresh this morning. Got up about 5, got my workout in. So you can regenerate and restore, but hormone intake is not the answer. Those are downstream molecules.
Right.
We need to know our physiology, what foods we need, what nutrients we need that God intended so that the whole unseen pathways that people aren't realizing. Yeah, they know they sleep better on melatonin, but they don't know what they're doing to their serotonin stress handling adaptation for the daytime when they only take melatonin and don't feed that tryptophan pathway.
Yeah, thanks for filling us in on that and the biochemical and nutrition components. That's important. I think a lot of people and folks rewind that and kind of listen to it again because that's things that we miss. We hear, okay, this is something that our body uses to help us sleep, but it isn't necessarily we need to create a product that gives us that. And that's kind of what Steve's talking about is we need to nourish our bodies with the nutrients that help our bodies to produce those things naturally, and it's much better for us. And you mentioned Steve tryptophan. That is a much better way. It's an amino acid, correct? L-tryptophan that we get.
Yeah.
Yep.
We could even get into story behind that because
Mm,
they banned it for many, many years.
mm,
The FDA knew that people were getting great benefits for sleep with it many, many years ago.
mm,
They had some bad studies on it. There was a bad batch of peanut meal that was fed to some chickens, I believe. Don't quote me on this, but then these chickens all died, and they thought, well, tryptophan's dangerous. No, it was poor quality peanut meal that
mm.
had the tryptophan in it, and it caused the problem. But
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah,
it's just like kava got made illegal at one time, and it's such a natural sedative. The
yeah.
industry is so controlled by Big Pharma. They will put out the lies to manipulate you to the drugs and get you
Yeah.
addicted. I can't tell you how many people come through the doors. They're hooked on drugs of multiple types that deal with anxiety, that deal with depression, that deal with sleep disorders, and they struggle to get out of that cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad, but it's true that we're dealing with some powers that be that kind of make decisions a lot of times that aren't for our best interests, but maybe for the interests of certain types of businesses, industries, and companies. So we want to keep that in mind especially when it has to do with our health and the supplements that we take. But before we dive into the supplement bundle that we're going to kind of focus on here in just a minute, let's talk about some other lifestyle factors that we've kind of touched on. But of course, our sleep routines and habits, as you mentioned, Steve, that's a really big lifestyle factor that we need to work on when we have higher stress times in our life. So making sure you have a routine, and maybe you do have a routine, and that's probably going to help a lot. But work on improving your routine as well. If you are struggling with sleep, there are some things that you can implement that can help. You've probably heard that trying to avoid screens for a certain amount of time before bed, an hour is a good amount of time to try to avoid screen usage, and that can help your body to come down because your what is it, the pituitary or the hypothalamus, something right here in the front of the head that is stimulated by light. Do you
Yes,
remember which one that is? Is that the pituitary?
pituitary and
Yeah.
the uh, the pineal gland is also affected, hypothalamus, like you said.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and stress that we think about or we push ourselves to do. There's a
Yeah.
client we have in the Phoenix area, and this guy, he's about 60 years old. He's working 13-hour days from the time he leaves home till he gets back home.
Mm.
And that's 6 days a week. If
Wow.
you do the math on that, that's 78-hour weeks. And he's just burning himself out. He has only been able to sleep 5 hours a night for years, been in that vicious cycle. And he's obviously somewhere you're going to break down and
Mm.
the body starts to shut down. So
Right.
now he's at least up to 6 hours, sometimes 7 hours of sleep.
Great.
And he's taken off on weekends now. He realizes the need for less work
Mm.
and the need to get his lifestyle in balance. And some days he doesn't work 13 hours. He cuts back and he'll work only 10 hours. So, it's just making those modifications little by little so that you can survive it all and enjoy your life. We're put
Yeah.
here to do a work, but don't let work burn us out.
Right. Right. So good sleep routines going to be really helpful. You can and think about incorporating sometimes salt and soda bath, Epsom salt and baking soda. That can help you kind of bring you down at night. Doing some relaxing breathing, uh, deep, slow breathing is always good to kind of bring us down. So a 4 count inhale through the nose and an 8 count exhale resisted by the lips through the mouth. So not just, but where you kind of resist that flow. So that deep exhale can kind of help your body to get that carbon dioxide out and help your body to calm. It can help during the day too to balance things out.
It
as well.
does. You do it for a minute, it'll reset your stress levels.
Yeah, really
There's a
good.
great app on the phone that I encourage people written by a licensed professional counselor. He's a great Christian author. His name's John Eldridge. It's called the 1 Minute Pause. The 1 Minute Pause app, folks. Download that. Take
Mm,
those 1 minute breaks during the day. Do the deep breathing, kind of reset your stress response, and enjoy your day.
it's good. And then you mentioned this as well, Steve, exercise, movement. So doing exercise weekly. Now, most people think that when they're told they need to do exercise, they're thinking about more than they really need to do,
Yeah,
usually.
for
And
sure.
so you can incorporate small amounts of exercise. Weights, maybe 2 days a week is probably enough for your daily needs. If you're more athletically active, you maybe need more than 2 days, maybe three, you know. And so incorporate weights, but also daily, it's good to do walking and stretching daily. So making sure you're getting in stretching after a workout and then doing some walking to kind of keep your body moving each day. And then hydration. We talked about hydration and diet. Go back to our video from last week. It's in our live portion, and that will get you filled in on how to balance your food and hydration habits. So important for helping your body to handle stress. So focus in on that and check that video out. That was shared last week on our live feed. Now, um, the next thing we're going to talk about is the supplementation. And we're going to talk about the Prosper Nutrition Stress and Energy Balance Bundle. So if you go to prospernutrition.com, you can actually see this bundle. I'm going to pull it up here to show you all. But this bundle has several supplements that are specifically put together by Steve and myself to help with nourishing your body so that you can handle stress. And so, Steve, I'm going to pull this up and I'm going to have you kind of dive into getting them up to speed on why these supplements are going to be so helpful and valuable for helping these people deal with the stress and get them feeling much better.
Yeah, sounds great. Well, at the center, you've got 6 products here, but there's one missing that's foundational that everybody needs, and it's a given, and that's our fish oil. It's our omega 3s. Folks, if you're not testing your omega 3s and getting them evaluated to know what's in your bloodstream, you are putting yourself at risk for stroke and heart attack. It is the number one factor of all research over multiple generations of studies, and they know it's the level of omega 3 in the blood that reduces the risk of stroke and heart attack. A single individual component that's related to that. Stress, magnesium, medications, cholesterol lowering drug, blood pressure they can't touch it. They can't touch omegas by a number of tenfold. So, folks, follow what Jesus fed everybody. Get your fish oil, make sure it's quality. Our pure omega 3 is the one that sets the foundation for all of these nutrients in the stress bundle to work. So get those fish oil in, and you will be remarkably transformed. Just the ability to repair, the ability for cell membranes to enhance signaling. We need that. And that's what choline does. You see choline there. Choline helps with the production of acetylcholine. It is the first neurotransmitter that was identified in, I believe, the 1920s. And so it's obviously the most biologically active if at that time they could identify it. And so they find this in all cell membranes, picking up neurotransmitter signals that affect mood and memory. Quite remarkable. And the need for choline isn't just for the brain and the nervous system. Choline acts as an emulsifier to break down toxic fats, remove them, and emulsify essential fatty acids from your diet, from your omegas, from your oils that you consume, and your nuts and seeds, so that your cells will take up fatty acids make anti-inflammatory prostaglandins. It's remarkable. Choline in conjunction with your fish oil is a home run hitter. And of course, magnesium goes with that because magnesium alkalizes the cell, and magnesium is in the highest concentration in our muscle. So our muscle tissue hold on to about 99% of all the magnesium that's in our body. What we read in our bloodstream is only a shadow reflection, 1% of the whole body's amount of magnesium. And we can tell from other factors if you're getting enough magnesium, if your body's too acidic. But magnesium is a natural muscle relaxer. It relaxes nerve fibers as well. Because of the protein structure in nerve fibers, there are protein elements involved there, as well as fatty acid elements. In just every tissue in the body, you've got this components of essential fatty acids and essential amino acids. Absolutely necessary is what the word essential means. And the researchers coined that phrase how many years ago? Before my life. So they saw in chemistry when you didn't get enough fatty acids, you're going to suffer. When you didn't get enough protein amino acids, your nervous system shuts down. Your sleep is disrupted. You become more anxious. You become irritable. You can't focus as well. Folks, don't deny your body the God-given nutrients. It's the greatest thing you can give your body. We were at a poverty level of income many years ago. There was one area that we cried out to God about, and that was, God, we want to buy the best quality supplements. We want to buy the highest quality of foods that we can get to feed our body. But we'll go to garage sales to buy our clothes. We'll drive an $800 car that we have to park on the street so it leaks the oil out on the street and on my driveway. Things like that. You take a chance and honor God by honoring his body that he's given you and watch the miracles happen. Of course, we've seen it with our families for so many years. Got me preaching now. I get fired up
Yeah.
talking about this, Jason.
Well, and that's a good point. I think I would like to say it this way too, is people wonder sometimes, is this going to work? And so we can tell you, we take these supplements. We've been balancing our health and addressing health issues for many years, decades, with natural approaches, supplementation being one of them. And with clients, I often say, do this for a month, all in for a month and see if you can feel the difference. And people often feel the difference within a week or two. But
Yeah,
you got to be all in. You got to think,
big
okay,
time.
I'm going
Sometimes
to
in
invest.
days. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes within days. Good point, Jason.
Yeah.
Really good point. The guy in Phoenix I was talking about, I didn't mention to you the other positive thing. He lost 10 pounds in a month. So that
Yeah.
when you decline your stress levels and nourish the body just naturally goes back to its ideal weight. He's still about 15 to 20 pounds overweight, but he knows he's going the right way.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so now there's a really great formula that's actually called our stress and energy balance formula. And that one you haven't touched on yet, but I wanted to touch on it briefly and then you can kind of dive into it. So the stress and energy balance, let me kind of pull it up here. I'm going to share the screen real quick. Hang on one second, folks. So the stress and energy balance, that's the one over here just next to the choline max. So that is actually an adrenal adaptogenic formula. So it has herbs in it. Rhodiola is one of the herbs that you may have heard of before, but it also has a product called Relora, which is a mix between Magnolia officinalis and philodendron. Now, that is actually a product that has been proven to work effectively to help with addressing your adrenal glands and nourishing your adrenal glands so that your body can balance cortisol and DHEA. And those are important hormones to help your body to have energy during the day and to handle stressful situations well. That's what your adrenal gland is responsible for. Your adrenal gland is reading your blood and helping your blood to have the necessary hormones it needs to deal with whatever stressful situation you're dealing with at that moment. And so this product is these nutrients work really well when they are emulsified or micellized in fat. And so this has perilla oil and medium chain triglycerides that these nutrients are micellized in. And so it allows for very, very easy uptake into the cells to nourish those cells with these nutrients, and has really great effects. You can actually, there's a study that was done on these, and it helped balance out cortisol and DHEA in the individuals involved with this study. Because cortisol is often when you wake up and you're feeling really kind of low or not feeling very well rested. Usually some that has to do with your cortisol not being produced as well in the morning. That's one of the factors. And so the other factors are not quality sleep, but one of them is that your cortisol may be low in the morning. And so that's something that as you start to nourish yourself during the day, you get better blood sugar balance during the day with balanced eating, and you get nutrients like this regularly, then your cortisol starts coming up in the morning. You start feeling better when you wake up in the morning. And then conversely, as we mentioned, good sleep habits, helping your body calm later in the day, DHEA is important for that. And that will often get low because of these same factors we've been talking about. And so taking these nutrients along with working on other lifestyle factors helps that DHEA come up later in the day so you can relax and rest well. So that's what I wanted to kind of summarize. Now, go on our website, prospernutrition.com, and you can actually look at stress and energy balance. Each product has a evidence sheet, and you can educate yourself in great detail about each product. And you can even go further and look at the references that are related to each product and dive in as deeply as you would like. And we're here as well if you ever have any questions about the products or formulas that we have. But yeah, I wanted to kind of give that summary. Do you have any other points that you would add regarding the stress and energy
Yeah,
balance
just
supplement?
adding to what you said about cortisol, Jason, you covered that product with excellence. Quite a few details there that are important for people to understand. But cortisol, when it's low in the morning, is linked to poor sleep. When it is high at night and you can't shut down,
Mm,
that also interferes with your melatonin uptake. So this cortisol balancing formula really helps the sleep-wake cycle.
it's good. Right. And then we've got three other products that we haven't gone into in detail yet. How about we start with the vitamin C Max? It's one of our four core supplements that we encourage people to take regularly. The vitamin C Max is so important for it actually nourishes the adrenal glands and the thyroid. It helps with the body cleaning up, inflammation, which that can, if you have inflammation that's not resolved, that can stress the body biochemically. So, what else would you add to as to why it would be helpful for them to incorporate regular vitamin C supplementation to help deal with stress, Steve?
I like that you said it helps to clean up inflammation. It also does that by cleaning up a lot of the inflammatory junk that stays in our colon. I
Mm,
recently had a client check back in with me, and she was only having a bowel movement once or twice a week. And many, I've heard this hundreds, if not thousands of times. We get them on the vitamin C, and they start having loose stools by the second or third bowel movement in the morning. It cleans out the colon by energizing immune cells along the colon, which control inflammation. And you feel so clean and uplifted in the morning when you get your day started with it. And it's water soluble. You need it 3 times a day. Some people can tolerate it just twice a day, but our immune systems use a lot of that. The adrenal glands have 50% more vitamin C that they utilize in that gland than any of the glands in the body. So stress handling depends on vitamin C.
yeah, and a very commonly under taken nutrient. It's
Right,
so
because people have tried it. They've bought junk. They've bought ascorbic acid, corn, glyphosate, junk in it. It just poisons their body and they feel worse. So people don't refill their orders when they buy that kind of vitamin C.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And
And our,
that's the
our,
major.
right. And that's not to mention how depleted our food is today and
Yeah,
how little vitamin C we're getting from our food as compared to the way it was 100 years ago. And so
for
um,
sure.
that's an important thing to keep in mind. Well, on that note, our food being really depleted, having a good quality multi that you can rely on is a really important thing. Now, we have had a recent switch. Our regular multivitamin and mineral, the big tablet, has is not available anymore. But it's good news because we actually have that's the same exact formula, but it's half the size and it's half the amount. So if you were taking the multivitamin and mineral, the big tablet, you would just take two now of the multivitamin and mineral mini. And so that one is now what's available on prospernutrition.com is the multivitamin and mineral mini. And this provides 40 important nutrients. It's a balance of, as we mentioned, multivitamin and multi-mineral. So it has all the essential vitamins and minerals and more, some other cofactors that help with uptake. So 40 different nutrients to help nourish your body and really can help set that foundation for you nutritionally and keep your body nourished well. You have any other things that you would share with the folks in regard to the multi and how valuable this can be for handling stress?
If we ever get a client to the level where we can get a micronutrient test done to measure cellular micronutrient uptake, out of this list of 40 nutrients in the multi, you're going to see an average of maybe 6 to 12 nutrients that are depleted in people even after they've begun a good program. And so we use this to fill in the gaps. Taking one of these with each meal really helps facilitate, enough riboflavin, enough niacin, and then B5, the calcium pantothenate. These are so important for stress handling.
Hmm. Yeah, and you say one per meal, but now that it's the mini, it's two per meal. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
well, don't
yeah,
we even have it on the chart there? It tells you if you have low
right.
stress, you could
Yeah.
take 2 to 4 tablets a day. If you have a moderate stress, 6 tablets to 8 tablets a day. And then if you're under high stress, 10 to 12 tablets. And
Wow.
I do about 6 to 8 a day myself. So I'm in that
Wow.
moderate stress.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I mean, I can definitely tell the difference in my body if I'm better about taking these multis. It gives you more energy. I mean, these B vitamins so helpful and valuable for getting your energy up. And so I would encourage you to get this multi, get the bundle, but get the multi. Now, the last thing we'll talk about is a very depleted nutrient because of the body's need for dealing with detoxification and energy. B12. And well, we've got a formula called B12 Max that is part of the bundle. Now, it's called B12 Max because it also has B6 and folate. And so, Steve, how does B12, if for this last point, how does B12, why is that so important in stress handling and helping your body to respond to stress in a balanced way?
You know, it, we could spend an entire day
Yeah.
and do a seminar on all the pathways that are impacted and how they function with B12. So basically, I'll tell you this. As we communicate with you in this video, we know that we have to use the proper grammar for you to understand what we're saying.
Mm,
Well, Dr. Jaffe calls B12 the grammar of the entire biochemistry of the body. So
mm,
how the immune system communicates to the digestive system and vice versa, how digestion impacts your cardiovascular system, how every system of the body communicates within itself is involved in B12 in that breakdown process called methylation. It's involved in sulfation, glucuronidation, all these unique chemical pathways for energy and ATP production. B12 is the miracle vitamin. Now, B12 was discovered a long time ago, and they gave it in the form of an injection because they found that the intrinsic factor in our digestion that assimilates it or that produces it was not working well in most individuals. So they needed to use an injectable and put it in the bloodstream. Well, we can inject it even better. Studies have been done on RB12, the hydroxyl food formula. Folks, don't use a methylated form of B12.
Mm-hmm.
It's like taking melatonin. It's a downstream molecule, and you miss many of those biochemical pathways that I mentioned that the hydroxycobalamin will facilitate. So you take it as a sublingual, and as you dissolve it in the mouth, it's like injecting it into the bloodstream. It assimilates through saliva membranes into the bloodstream and circulates through the body. The first time you take that B12 and suck on it for 15, 20 minutes, you will feel a difference.
Yeah, it's good. And you have them put it under their tongue, correct? That's where it
Yeah, or in the cheek. Dr. Jaffe will say just in the cheek.
in the cheek or under the tongue. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And we've got a little video here. You created a video, Steve, on educating people on this supplement. So, and
Yeah.
then as I mentioned, evidence sheet, like every product, you can dive in and get more information on each product. But this has been great. So, folks, stress is real. We understand that you're dealing with a lot of stresses, especially during this season. And we wanted to give you these solutions, these nutrition and lifestyle solutions that can help you deal with stress naturally and help you start feeling amazing. And you'll be not just handling stress, but actually getting ahead in regard to your health and all the other things in your life when you're incorporating these important lifestyle factors and supplementation. So if you use the code 9525 show, you will get a 10% discount on your next order. And this will allow you to get that stress and energy bundle at a discount. So, folks, thank y'all for watching. And Steve had to go out, he had an appointment, but we appreciate him helping us. And we look forward to seeing y'all next time. We're here each week providing you with some information on how you can prosper and be in health. So feel free to reach out to us. If you enjoyed this video, if this was useful for you, please like and subscribe to the channel if you want to be notified. And we'll keep you updated on all the health news and information that we are learning about and sharing with our clients at the Nutrition Health Center. So we look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day. Take care now. Bye-bye.